Hi there. I and my buddy Joe English are sending our regards, and today we would like to do some ACT English section test questions together. So, without further ado, let's share the PDF. All right, and passage we're gonna work on today is entitled "Playing with Pinatas." Playing with Pinatas. Let's see the first one, 30, 31. While the history of the Pinata is somewhat murky, full stop, period, most scholars believe. Of course, this is very obvious since we have a subordinating conjunction at the beginning. While we are connecting two sentences together, we should put a comma in between. So the best answer is D, 31D, murky, comma, most scholars. So it would read like this. While the history of the Pinata is somewhat murky, comma, most scholars believe that the Pinata originated in China, right? So we have two sentences linked together with a subordinating conjunction. So we should put a comma in between the two sentences. Now, moving on to 32, the pinata was created centuries ago in China, comma, where most of them were made to resemble animals. So a no change is a good answer here, where most of them in China were made to resemble animals. So 32, F is the best answer. Moving on to 33, let's read from the beginning of the sentence. Rather, the candy or toys, as is customary today, that these animal figures were covered with colorful paper and filled with seeds, rather than candy or toys, as is customary today. So, no change seems to be a good choice because the sentence is correct. Nothing sounds strange. So, and also it's better than saying like they do today or which is a standard customary way today, which is very, very long. And it has the same meaning like as is customary today. So when we say as is customary today, this is the best answer. So A is no change is the best choice. Moving on to 34, let's read it. The ashes of the seeds were in keeping until the end of the year. We should say were kept until the end of the year. It's like a passive structure, not active structure. And so we should say were kept. G is the best answer for that. You know the passive structure when you have verb to be, whether in the present or past format or any other tense, and then the past participle of the verb, keep is kept, right? The past participle of keep is kept. So the best answer here is 34G. Okay, moving on to 35. The Italian, comma, explorer, comma, Marco Polo, comma. All right, this is very obvious. When we have a what we call the appositive, and the appositive is very short, like a name of a person, a proper name, we should not use any comma. It is common to use commas around the appositive, like before and after the appositive, if we have a long appositive. But in the case of having a very short appositive, like a proper name of somebody, then we should not use any appositive. So the best answer, therefore, should be B, 35B, without any commas. Also, remember, I told you before, go for the answer that doesn't have any punctuation if it is correct. So here, B doesn't have any punctuation, any commas, anything. So should be the best answer if it sounds correct. So it should read, the Italian explorer Marco Polo is probably responsible for bringing the Chinese blah, blah, blah. So yeah, B is the best answer. Let's go to 36. 36 has a prompt, so we should read it first. At this point, the author is considering adding the following sentence. Europeans celebrate many historic events. Would this be a logical and relevant addition to the essay? Here, right here, after this sentence, let's read the sentence that precedes it. The pinata quickly became associated with religious ceremonies and was also used in celebrations. So should we use it here, this sentence? Europeans celebrate many historic events. Yes, because Europeans use pinatas during their celebrations. Yes, because historic events are important. No, because the essay focuses on pinatas, not on historic events. Yeah. So, yeah, our focus is the pinata and not the historic events. So we should not add this sentence that says Europeans celebrate many historic events because it's irrelevant. So the best answer for 36 is H. For that kind of question, I repeated this in previous videos. If you have a question that asks you where to put this, or if we put this, if it, is that logical or not, or something related to rearranging parts in the paragraph, leave these kinds of sentences to the end because they require you to read carefully, and this requires more time on the ACT. And since you don't have much time, leave them at the end. So if you have enough time, you can do that. If not, just go for the answer that sounds to be the best one. How can we do that? By using the process of elimination. Eliminate the one or two choices you are sure are definitely wrong. Then you are left with two choices. If you don't have enough time, then just make a choice between them. But never use any, never leave any question and unanswered, right? Now moving on to 37. During this time in Italy, the pinata was often made of fragile clay that broke easily. Remember, on the ACT, we don't need repetitions of exactly the same meaning. So if we say fragile clay, it means it breaks easily. So there is no need to mention that break or broke easily. So we might as well omit this part. So the best answer for 37 is D, omit the underlined portion. Omit the underlined portion, D. So far, so good. So let's now move to 38. 38. Let's read it. All right. Fragile bot. The clay bots could be hung from a tree or a bowl, and a stick would be used to hit the bot until it broke. All right. So it sounds correct. There's no change. The clay bots would be hung like a passive structure. If we read through the other answers, clay bots would be hung, clay bots, comma, would be hung. No, this is definitely wrong because, as we said before, we should not separate the subject and the main verb with a comma. So G is definitely wrong. H, clay bots would have been hanging. No. J, clay bots, comma, hanging. So the best answer is clay bots would be hung from a tree. So this is no change, F, right? Moving on to 39. Um, let's read it. The broken bots dispensed of tiny treasures that would fall to the ground. We just should say the broken bots dispensed tiny treasures. So the tiny treasures are dispensed from, all right? And also dispense is just should be followed by the object directly without saying dispense it of. So B is the best answer. The broken bots dispensed without the of tiny treasures that would blah, 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 right? So B, 39B is the best answer. Moving on to 40, let's read 40. With colorful ribbons and paper, comma, these clay bots could be unadorned or decorated. Okay, so no change. Or with colorful ribbons and paper, these clay pots could be unadorned or decorated. Or H, these clay pots could be unadorned or decorated with colorful ribbons and paper. Yeah, so the problem with no change is that with colorful ribbons and paper are misplaced, right? So it should be after the preposition, after the adjective decorated, decorated with blah, blah, blah. So the best answer here is H. It has to do with the word order. Decorated with colorful ribbons and papers, not with colorful ribbons and paper first, but it should be at the end of the sentence after the adjective decorated. So H is the best answer for 40. Moving on to 41. In the United States, binatas, comma, are generally made either blah, blah, blah. So he's talking about binatas as a subject, so we should use it without any apostrophe or anything. Also, he's talking about binatas are, so it should be a plural and not singular. So the best answer for 41 is C. So in the United States, binatas are generally made either of this or of other material. So binatas are C without any commas and without any apostrophes. Now moving to 42, every holiday has their own host of possible choices, or should we say every holiday has its own? So we should say its as in G, because its is a possessive pronoun that goes with every holiday. So holiday and its host. So G. Holiday is singular, so we should say its and not their. How about 43? 43. In America, baseball bats are the preferred tool used to break open the pinata. Yeah, that sounds correct. No change is the best answer here. We should not say in America baseball bats because in America should be followed by a comma. It's like a prepositional phrase. We have a preposition in and America as a noun that comes after. So we should use a comma, usually a comma after the prepositional phrase if it comes at the beginning of the sentence. And then we continue baseball bats are the preferred blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the best answer for 43 is A and not the other choices. How about 44? Okay, it has a prompt, so let's read the prompt. Which of the following alternatives would not be appropriate? Remember, reading the prompt is important because here it asks us to find the one answer that is not appropriate. Not the answer that is suitable, but the answer that is not appropriate. So let's read the choices. Pat should make the baseball bat should make it simple to break open the banana, laden with bounds of candy and toys. Laden should be can be replaced with filled, so this is acceptable. Backed also, loaded also, but barren is the one that is not acceptable. And this is the correct answer because he asks me to find the answer that is not acceptable. So J is the answer to that question. Okay, so let's move on to the last question in this essay or this message. 45. 45. Um, onlookers with onlookers will generally try to help the participant by offering suggestions, comma, but the audience most enjoys watching the blindfolded person swing mightily at nothing but thin air. Okay, sounds like a correct sentence. Nothing unusual here, so no change is a good answer. But let's have a look at the others. But the audience watching the blindfolded person most enjoys. We should not bring anything to come between the audience, which is the subject, and the verb, which is enjoys. It should be the audience enjoys or most enjoys, blah, blah, blah. It has to do with the word order. Watching the blindfolded person, but the audience most enjoys. No, that is not correct, a good choice. Most enjoyed by the audience is watching. No, that's a strange structure. So the best answer here for that question 45 is A, no change. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.